Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mindset Alchemy podcast. I'm Janine, your hostess. As a psychic business catalyst, success catalyst, I love helping people understand things, have awareness around things, and understand that healing is wholeness. And it's absolutely an incredible pleasure to welcome my friend Jacqueline Kane, master energy healer and coach, back to talk to us. Jackie has been on the show. She's been part of my Success Spiral Summit. And Jackie has such an incredible depth of knowledge, especially around lineage healing, around what your body's telling you about, and where awareness comes in. And Jackie, would you like to add on about anything about what you do and how you do it?
First of all, thank you, Janine, for having me here. And I think the message today is it's time to release all the baggage that we're carrying for our lineage and our generations that came before us, all of their unresolved stuff that we're carrying. It's time to let that go. It's time for you to live your life and be you and spread that energy into the world.
Oh, that is such a powerful message. And it so aligns with what I believe, that we get to own our own power. Now, Jackie, we are not on the 20-year-old spectrum of life where we're starting out and we are now looking at having our families. We've had our families. We're blessed to have had our families. We have grown to have our families.
Yep. Lots of growth. Hopefully.
Oh, definitely. And what we're going to be sharing today, people, is how to move from having small children to having children that are becoming independent and soon will desire their independence, which means you have more time for you, for your partner, and all those wonderful things that come with life. Most people call it the empty nester syndrome. And I know for myself, I don't think I really caught it as much as other friends. I don't know how to explain it. Because I understood energy, because I was starting my own journey, it didn't impact me as much as I've seen it impact some of my friends. I know it really impacted my mom. What has your experience been, Jackie, and where are you helping women with this? And guys, yes, you go through it as well. We're not denying that you go through it. It's just we're sharing it now from a feminine perspective, a female perspective.
The mom who does a lot 24/7, if she's not physically doing something, she's thinking about her kids, right? She's worried about them. And as much as we love our kids, we get lost in their lives. And it's hard when they've moved on and we're still left behind. And then we start asking, like, who am I? What do I want? And we realize that we don't even know anymore what we want. And so for those women out there, if that's you who was listening, it's important to start to discover, what do you enjoy? What fills your cup up, right? Was it walks in nature? Was it hanging out with girlfriends? Was it taking a bath? Was it having alone time? Was it writing or journaling? What was your passion that you set aside to focus on your kids and your family? And first step is awareness, right? I know you, Janine, talk about this all the time. So awareness in what do you enjoy doing? And how can you get back to doing that, right? Even though some people will say, no, I shouldn't, I don't have time. Make the time.
Yes, yes. I actually heard somebody last night, this is slightly off the point, and yet it really illustrates what you were saying. She was blessed with something, and out of her mouth straight afterwards came, well, I suppose I don't really deserve it. There are other women that deserve it more than I do. Well, Jackie, my hair on my entire body stood on end. I did 4 voice notes and deleted all of them because I realized whatever I said at that point in time was not going to be the best thing to say. So that is very much what you're highlighting there is the worthiness, that feeling of worthiness. Now, Jackie, in your experience, where does that worthiness walking out the door instead of back in come from?
Well, it's what we've been raised in, what we've been conditioned to believe. And I feel what I see in a lot of my clients is that women have been raised to put their needs aside and focus on helping mom, focus on helping their brother, taking care of their brother. Usually women at a young age were given the role of caretaker, yes, and they took that on. So you're asking, so somebody has been conditioned. By the time our kids leave, usually a mom is where between like 40, around the age of 40, right? So she's lived like 40 years of caretaking. That's a lot of conditioning to then reprogram, yes, right? So if we feel that we don't deserve, one, who taught you that? Who taught you that it's not right to take care of your own needs, that your role is to put somebody else's needs before your own? And then what comes up when you try to like unravel that and let that go? And there's a lot of resistance because we're asking women to really, it's a whole mind shift to be something completely different. And at first they're going to say, no, you're wrong. This is how I've been raised, right? So how can we ask somebody to go against how they were raised and all they know? It's like pushing a wall. So I totally understand how hard it is to step into feeling worthy, to step into being deserving of wearing beautiful clothes, of feeling good, of feeling healthy, and doing all the things that help you to feel good and healthy in the moment. Because as a mom, we do it for our kids. We've raised our kids. What do you need? Now it's time to start giving us that, giving yourself that compassion.
That is so important. Jackie, in your own life, where did you learn to do that?
Oh my gosh. As a child, I had my own trauma when I was raised. And my family we had our fair share of dysfunction, I guess you could say. And so I learned at an early age that for me to fit into my family was to be the people pleaser. I thought if I took care of everybody else, if I'd made everybody sandwiches for lunch for school, that I would be liked, that I would be loved. And years of that, it didn't work out for me. Right? So we learn at a very young age. We're so smart and intuitive, and that we want to survive, right?
Yes.
When we're raised in a traumatic home, we're in survival mode. It's not about what makeup I get to put on or what makes me feel good. It's about how do I survive in this family?
Yes.
Right.
And for what I've seen with my clients, one of the number one things is safety first. Safety first, and then life follows afterwards. So Jackie, your journey into owning yourself and understanding yourself, where did you first learn to release this requirement to, wow, I'll be safe if I just do for others?
As a child.
No, as an adult in this journey.
Oh,
where did you have the realization, oh my goodness,
that's
I'm worthy
what I'm
of
doing.
having...
Oh yeah, I had to go through my dark night of the soul, right?
Yes.
Because we carry these wounds because as a child we're not equipped to heal that part of ourselves. So we just survive. And then yes, when we become the magical age of 40, 50, 60, then we wake up and we say, no, it's my time now, because that conditioning, that pattern and habit was not working for me. And it's a decision you have to make that some people make. I mean, some people, they'll just stay in that conditioning, right? But for some of us, we're like, no, we go through our journey, our dark night of the soul, whenever it is that wakes us up and says, this is not the life I thought I was going to live. And I went on my journey to learn. I had to hire coaches. I had to learn things. I had to relearn things. I had to heal parts of myself and learn the right tools, effective tools and techniques that helped me to manifest the life I desire. And first, I had to step into owning my worth, owning and saying that I deserve it, and that every day I'm going to commit to me. Because until you commit to yourself that you deserve it, you're not going to do what it takes. The wounded parts are going to continue to come in and say, I'm too tired today. I'm going to stay in bed. Nope, I'm not going to get on that coaching call today. Nope, I'm going to ignore all the things that I could do. And your inner saboteur is going to sabotage your results and you're going to stay stuck. But you have to keep pushing.
Yes. One of the things that I've seen with women as well is their partner doesn't necessarily enjoy the shift, doesn't necessarily enjoy the fact that, and now I'm talking about a man-woman partnership, not necessarily other types of partnership. But what I have seen, I'm very blessed. My husband just went, oh, wow, how do I get to do this too? There were still times when he went, what am I supposed to do here? And in fact, Jackie knows this because she helped me with it amongst other people. He decided he might like to get very ill to find out what I would do. What they did for him, though, was it opened him. But I am seeing in a lot of relationships, not all partners are so happy that their wives are now becoming their own person and no longer the doormat. I can't remember where I was going with this, but.
Well, people, our family, we've raised them and they're used to us being a certain way, right? So when we start changing, they are not happy because we changed the rules and we didn't tell them. You know, for example, the married people out there, our partners married us from who we were before. We didn't say one day, I'm changing the rules now. Get ready. Good things are going to come, but it's going to be a little bumpy before that.
Just a little bumpy, like Mount Everest type of bumpy sometimes. Or the Rift Valley deep.
Yeah, so of course, and we don't like things when people change them on us. So yeah, no, they do not like change. They do not want us to change. And I think me as a human being, I don't like change. It's scary. It's, what do you mean you're changing? What do you mean you're not going to cook dinner for me every night? What do you mean you're not going to take care of my needs and put my needs first before? You mean your needs are important now, after 20 years?
Or 37 or 40, yes.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. The other day I was talking to somebody and I can't remember how mature the young lady is, but she was well into her 60s. And her husband got the shock of his life one day when she turned around and said, I'm not doing that now, thank you. What do you mean you're not doing that now? Well, I'm off to wherever she was going. And this gentleman was horrified that his wife wasn't going to be there to make his lunch for him. She was very sweet. She prepared the platter, she laid the table for him, and she wasn't going to be there. And he was horrified. And you must know people coming from that generation even. It's very interesting. And something else.
Along with everything that's been passed down, right?
Yes.
Because it's not just this generation, it's ingrained in us. Yeah.
Yeah. And that brings me on to the lineage healing side of it, because people, not only do we have the lineage of the lifetime we are living now, we also have whomever we follow spiritually and any past lives that are impacting or impinging on our lives. We get to sort those lineages out as well. Plus, when you have a partner, you get to deal with that side of the story too. What is your experience with this, Jackie, especially with ladies 40 plus and gentlemen?
Oh my gosh. When we start clearing our energetic line, life just opens up. I had the pleasure of doing a 5-day retreat with a few ladies, and one woman, she had marital problems. And as we started the retreat and doing the healing, every day she came in, she was sharing a new insight into her relationship. There was more compassion for her husband. There was more love. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of really strong women out there. And I know, Janine, you are one and I am one. And we can do everything, right? We can take care of ourselves all the time. So when you're married, that partner can feel that you're not needed. Mm. And so we kind of close our hearts because we just do and do, and we're exhausted and we're tired and we lose it. And so she started opening up her heart and receiving his love that she had closed off. And by the end of the 5 days, they had an incredible shift in their relationship. It was beautiful, so beautiful to watch. Children, even some relationships with children shift because this energy just shows up. I was talking to somebody yesterday and she was saying how, gosh, no matter what she does, it doesn't work for her. No matter what business adventure she tries, doesn't take off. She's been depressed. She lost her mom last year, didn't get out to California to see her. She lives in Connecticut. And that added on more depression. She doesn't talk to her brothers or really her father, and she doesn't really understand why, right? That's an energy. There's an energetic block there that can be shifted when we clear this energy. And I heard, a few people say, well, Jack, it's just the way it is. You can't do anything about it. Or I can't do anything to help my aging parents. Yes, you can. When you shift the energy, things shift. Their health improves. Money shows up. Relationships improve. They're able to receive that love and joy that they pushed away for some reason. And this is all energy, right? When you clear it, it's amazing the things that show up. Amazing. Life truly becomes magical. And I'm not the only one who says that. Clients say it's mind-blowing what happens, right? Janine, I know you do this work too. It's mind-blowing.
It really is. In fact, I've even seen it in our own family with various siblings shifting. As my husband and I have shifted, it's open space for his siblings to shift. And as they've shifted, it's open space for him to shift even more. And it's just incredible the difference it makes. And not only is it for our parents, it's also for our children and our children's children that the shift opens up. It's just so very, very powerful. Jackie, yes, I know there's the doing, and yes, I know there's the various other things. I also remember when I was working, taking my daughter to dancing and back. And the day she could drive herself, although I still tended to drive her because sometimes she was too tired after 5 hours of dancing. That day, because I was used to talking to the ladies there and I was used to fellowship.
Yeah.
And the first time she went off, I was like, okay, I have 2 hours. What do I do with this? It was really quite a shock to the system. Jackie, I know you run retreats and you run workshops. What are you looking at? I know you're looking at helping women 40 plus with this type of sudden loss, because people, yes, it is a loss. You lose what you were doing. It's almost like you lose your children. I still remember Roland's face. He wasn't always home. And he saw our daughter drive down the road at 6 o'clock in the evening. And he turned around and said, aren't you going with her? And I said, what for? You can't let her go by herself. She's 25. I'm sure she wasn't. I think she was 20, 80. She was in her 20s. He says, you can't do that. I said, why not? She's been doing it for years. So
we're so trained, and then we worry about them, right? It's a big shift. Yeah.
Now, what are you offering in the form of retreats, classes, programs to help people with this? Please share, because you are having phenomenal results with your retreats.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So I'm working on a Mother's Day retreat coming up in May. And then in the fall, we'll probably I'm looking to do a 5-day retreat. Because I find that doing the 5-day retreat is like doing a 3-month program with somebody, condensed, right? And it's such a beautiful container to have somebody doing the healing journey, the healing shifts in 5 days or a long weekend and go back home transformed, right? Wow. It's incredible. And then I do have
sorry, to go to that, what does it look like for the person coming that 5-day? Because I've heard some of the success you've had with those 5 days. You take 10 years of suffering and chuck it out the door in 5 days.
You feel refreshed. When was the last time you felt refreshed in your body? Right? You didn't feel the worry and concern that's in your head constantly with the next thing to do. There was more peace and calm and being present in the moment. Who lives in the moment? Not many people live in the moment. And it's a habit of being busy. It's a habit of the red shiny object, right? When you look at the thing that you're afraid to look at and you heal that and transform it, there's this awe and this ease that shows up in the body. You don't have to work so hard. If you have a business, the right clients show up. There's more love and ease, flow, and abundance that flows through you. And everybody in your world kind of up levels because that's how you're showing up.
That's true. That is so true. And Jackie, sorry, I interrupted you. We're carrying on talking about your 3 days and what else you offer that can help people achieve a form of this.
Yeah, so I also have a 7-week Reclaim Your Power program that will be starting again in May. It's 7 weeks. We meet for 90 minutes. That's a group program where I take people through these processes, and it's transformational. No matter where you're suffering, you don't have to suffer. You don't have to take a pill.
Ease ease. We can have ease. I love it.
Yeah, truly. And I know some people are like, no, that's impossible, but it is possible.
Yes. It just has to be a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It has
We
to
all
be
have a
a
choice to
great
suffer
choice.
or to do the work and be powerful. Every human being is powerful.
That's it. I've been, since my husband got ill and decided life is much better here for now, he has been doing a lot of work with like Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dane here, and Gary Douglas with Jackie, and with various other mentors and coaches. What do you feel, because we work primarily with women, just in your experience, what do you feel men would be looking for?
It's interesting. I'm getting more men also as clients. For men, what are they looking for? Men are an interesting breed, right? So for women, we talk about our feelings. We have no problem telling you our deepest wounds, right? Some men, it's hard to get them to feel that. I've recently attracted guys who are very wounded right now. They're in their dark night of the soul. And I guess they're left with no choice but to actually feel those wounds. So it's kind of like desperation mode that's bringing them to actually feel their feelings and to actually see where they've had a closed heart, or they've been too controlling or not communicating enough. But they're definitely a different breed. I love the men who are showing up, who are willing to do the work. And when they do the work, things are shifting for them. Yeah. So it's possible. They're just different.
I will agree with you there. What I've seen, especially, and I'm sure it's the same the world over. One of my biggest things is if I hear parents saying to their son, "Boys don't cry," well, I actually just want to go over and make the parent cry, because they are so conditioned to suppress their feelings. Women are as well, because we're told, chin up, be strong,
get over it.
Get over it. And it's to get rid of that conditioning, which comes down from centuries.
Yeah.
I've been looking at a lot of stuff around mirror neurons, which I know is part of the lineage healing, which is part of various modalities. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, it's like epigenetics and all of that, right? It's the energy we're created in. So when, for example, let's just share my story, right? So my mother was raised in Sardinia, Italy during World War II. A lot of fear. She was raised, her mother was taking care of them while her father was away fighting the war. So she had a lot of fear inside of her. They didn't talk about that. They just lived it. So I also lived with a lot of fear in my life. And it wasn't until I was in my 40s till I realized my husband was like, I don't have fear. And it made me really think, oh, not everybody feels fear on a daily basis. So it's the energy. I had to shift that energy from my mother that I inherited. I was born in her. So the energy that you're born in, whether it's fear, whether it's frustration or anger or sadness or grief, I have friends, even poverty, all of it. That energy, so if we take poverty and your mom's pregnant with you and her concern is, how am I going to feed this child? Where's my next dollar coming from? Where am I going to sleep tonight? That's the energy that you're carrying, that you were born in, that is creating your cells, the thousands of cells in your muscle, in your organs, in your brain, your whole thinking, your whole processing, analyzing. That's the energy it comes with.
Mm-hmm.
So that poverty mind, that worry, if you, let's say you're older and you want to create a business, here you go. Here's your dose of worry that you're raised in. That's what your business is going to be building itself in.
Yes.
It's going to be born into.
That is such a valuable point. Jackie, I know you help people very valuably to shift their money mindsets because of things like the mirror neuring, understanding the lineage, knowing where it's coming from, understanding the outside as well as the inner components. What do you offer to help people with that?
So I do ancestral energy clearings. It's a whole process where I help them get very clear in what's the energy and emotion that they were raised in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I ask you when you think of your family, was it happy? Was it sad? What's the emotion? And then we clear that through the ancestral line and the future generations. I have a process for that. And then we move into inner child healing, because ancestral energy is great, but it's not the be end of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to heal that little child that was raised and living in that environment for years and decades. And so I do a lot of inner child healing. We move on to the saboteur, because you have to feel comfortable shifting. And that saboteur is going to take you down. And we have to up-level your saboteur's job description to allow in the success and all the abundance that is here for everybody.
That's it.
So,
and I have seen what shifting that does for women who are now allowing their children to leave and become adults, and rather becoming their friend or their mother rather than parenting them. How that has made huge shifts for men and women, moving out of that child rearing phase into the now I get to create, I get to be more expansive phase. It's because it's very difficult to be expansive when you've wrapped yourselves in those bonds of poverty thinking, those bonds of I'm not worthy thinking, and you think, well, what's going on here? So that is so valuable. Thank you very much. It's so sad our time is closing here for this show. Jackie, I know you have a gift for our audience. Would you like to share some last words about what we were discussing today, and share with the audience the beautiful gift you're offering?
Yeah, so the gift is my soul activation meditation, where it will be the first start of doing an ancestral clearing. It will help you get grounded and release the chatter in the mind and help you to stay focused. And then I want everybody to know that healing is for everybody. It doesn't just happen to certain people. It happens to those that take the next step. So I encourage you to do your healing journey and to take the next step to your healing, because you do deserve it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. One last thing. Healing is wholeness. And that is what Jackie and I offer, is a way for you. You are not broken. You do not require fixing. Now, wholeness is another whole topic. And with Jackie's meditation, it will definitely help you step into that next step of wholeness. People, thank you for joining us today. Remember, what we are thinking and what we're feeling may not be real. It may not be ours. And each phase in life is beautiful. And Jackie, thank you so much for coming to share about how you're helping people in the different phases of their lives. I so appreciate you. Just mention again the dates of your next workshop, please.
Oh, yes. Actually, it's the last weekend of April. I don't know the exact dates.
Guys and girls, Jackie's details will be in the show notes. Get hold of her because I can tell you from personal experience what a powerful lady this is and how she helps you shift. Jackie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Janine.
Bye-bye, everybody.